Hi, Art Kurtz here at Easy Access Math, and today's lesson is equation systems. Now, I'm going to teach you a way to do equation systems where you're only asked for one variable. There may be times you're asked to completely solve an equation system or a system of equations, and there's some really good videos on YouTube that will help you with that. So check out equation systems, put that in the search bar, or systems of equations in algebra, and you could watch some really good videos instructing you on complete solutions. However, there are times that you may be asked to find just one variable, one value. Now, when this happens, you actually can't use substitution or plug in. You would need both variables to do that. So you would actually have to partially solve it. Remember, you're only looking for one variable, and that's the one that they would be asking for. So in my case, I have this equation system. An equation system basically has two equations, one on top of the other, with two variables each. And they can be any two different letters. Usually you might see X and Y, or Y and Z, or X and Z, but it could be any two letters. Now, look for the one you're asking to solve for, or the one you're being asked to find. You will eliminate the other letter, and you're going to do that by adding the two equations, column by column. X's with X's, Y's with Y's, and number by number. But it's not that simple. You have to set up something first. So I want to show you that. Before you start, you have to make sure that the letter that you are not looking for, the one that you're not being asked for, cancels each other out, meaning you would have a positive and a negative of the same value. You know, if you're very lucky, the values might be the same and they cancel each other out. But likely they won't. So here I have a plus y, remember that's really a 1, and a negative 2y. I have to make them equal numbers, plus and negative, to cancel those y's out. Remember, I'm canceling the y because I'm looking for the other variable. I'm looking for the x. So I'm canceling the y. What do I need to make them equal? I need to make this a positive 2. And I do that, remember that was a 1, by multiplying the entire line by the number I need to make it equal. And that, in this case, would be 2. So this becomes 4x, this becomes the 2y, and the 11 now becomes 11 times the 2, which is 22. Okay, you see what I did? I brought the value by multiplying the entire line. It has to be the entire line, including the number after the equals, by a number that will make the two plus and minus of equal values. Now I can cancel those, they're gone, and I add everything else. Just add them up. And then solve, and you'll get your solution for the other letter, the x. Now I have 4 plus 3 is 7x. The y's canceled just like I wanted them to. And 22, I'm going with the change numbers. 22 plus 13 is 35. So I have 7x equals 35. I'll divide. Remember, you're dividing sign and all, but here it's a plus. I don't have a sign. Remember, when you divide, you would divide the sign and all. If it was negative, you would divide by a negative. Here it's not a negative, so I just divide by the 7. Okay, not a negative, so I'm just dividing by the number. And whatever I do to that side, I do to the other side, the same thing, the same 7, to the other side of the equal sign. And I have x equals, let's put that in blue, x equals 35 divided by 7, which is 5. And that's the solution. Now, it is always possible you may have to change both lines to get the number that you want to get rid of, that you are not looking for, to equal. It's possible, but you may have to multiply both lines by a number to manipulate that letter and get them to be equal numbers, plus and minus. It's also possible if both signs are the same, you'll have to multiply by a negative number. But it's likely you'll see something like this, where only one line has to be multiplied by a number to get the numbers to be equal value, plus and minus. You're multiplying the line with the smaller value, likely to be a 1. In this case it was, so I multiplied the entire line by 2 because that was a negative 2 on the bottom. When I add those up, they cancel. Plus 2, negative 2, wiped out, gone. I add up everything else. You just add them. And I have 4 plus 3 is 7. I'm adding the new change numbers that were already multiplied. Notice I crossed out the old numbers. 22 plus 13, the change number, plus the 13 on the bottom line, which didn't change in this case, is 35. 7x equals 35. Divide both sides by 7 using regular solving technique, and x equals 5. You're just dividing by the number here. If it was negative, you would divide by negative. In this case, it's positive, just regular 7. So I divide both sides by 7, and I get x equals 5. 35 divided by 7 is 5. And that's the solution for the x value of this system of equations, this equation system. For more information, check out other videos on equation systems. This technique is good when you're only being asked for one value.